Quick notice to all the Igbo people in Nigeria. The Igbo people are part of Nigeria. They are one of the major ethnic groups in Nigeria. The Igbo people are also called Igbo. They are located at the southeastern part of Nigeria. They are very industrious. In this article, I shall be talking on the language of the Igbo people. It is worthy of note that the language of the Igbo people is called Igbo language. It is the language spoken by the Igbo indigenes. It is a means of interaction by the people in their day-to-day activities with one another. The Igbo language is taught in the schools around Igbo land, and as a matter of fact, the students are expected to pass the subject very well during exams. Talking about present state of the language today in the Igbo land and in Nigeria at large, the language is gradually losing its strength and value. Most of the indigenous people of Igbo now hardly speak the language. Some of them have now changed the Igbo language with English language as a means of interaction. Some of the Igbo people cannot speak Igbo freely compared to how they speak English language. This nonchalant attitude towards the speaking of Igbo language is mostly found within the Igbo students in higher institutions. The Igbos living outside the boundaries of Igbo land, as well as the learned men and ladies in between and outside the Igbo territory. In our present higher institutions, the Igbo students found they hardly interact with their fellow Igbo students with Igbo language. Instead, they derive joy in discussing with English language. They do this to show how civilized they are, shying away from their mother's tongue. It is as a result of this that most higher institutions like Abia State University create room for village meetings for students to go and interact and discuss with their people in their language. Also, in a bid to encourage Igbo language, Abia State students has also started teaching of Igbo language as general studies (GST). On the other hand, the Igbo people residing outside the Igbo territory hardly interact with one another in Igbo language. Parents in diaspora go as far as teaching their children English language instead of their mother's tongue. Now, the children grow up to have the English language installed in them instead of Igbo language. Most times, when these children travel to their village, Igbo land, they end up speaking English to even the old men and ladies who don't understand English language. For our learned men and ladies within and outside the Igbo territory who have acquired Western education, they always speak this English language every time as against Igbo language, which is their mother's tongue for them. It is to showcase how learned and distinguished they are. Most, if them, as far as going to speak English language in Igbo village meeting, which is supposed to be strictly on Igbo language for proper understanding to everyone in the meeting. In conclusion, the Igbo language is what the Igbo people are known for. Replacing of Igbo language with another language is not right. I advise the Igbo people should work on the development of the Igbo language. Thank you for listening to this news. I respect the Igbos for one thing, and that is what? That is their respect for their language. Yes, of a truth, with some of us showcase by dumping our language while speaking another language. But then that respect for our language is still there. And what is that respect? Recognizing the language when in the midst of our fellow Igbos. When in the midst of our fellow Igbos, when an Igbo boy or girl or Igbo man or woman find herself in the midst of her fellow Igbo, believe you me, she will identify herself with the language. And that is one thing I love the Igbos for sure. But the only thing that is paining me is the attitude of not building, bringing, bringing up the young ones up with the language. Because not bringing them up with the language will take them away completely from their culture. We take them away completely from their mother, from their father's land. It will deny them of that Igbo tongue completely, and thereby they will now grow up not being able to speak the language at all. Instead, becomes very fluent in speaking English. It is not good. We still need to give value to our language by bringing up our children up with the language. At least let them know how to speak the Igbo language. English is good, quite all right, but then their culture must not be thrown away. Igbo language is one of the very important culture that they need to be cultured with. An Igbo child need to be cultured with their Igbo language. In fact, that's the first thing that child need to be cultured with in why introducing the Igbo culture to that child. Teaching the child how to speak and understand the Igbo language. It is not wrong where, whereby you bring up your child using the two language, Igbo and English. Yes, the child will adapt. When the child is in school, the child gets his or herself acquainted with English because that is the general language in the school. But when the child comes home, the parents should endeavor to speak Igbo language to that child because that is the only place that child can be able to know and speak his language. Nobody is going to speak the language to him in school because that is not the general language in the school. So I will say that as parents, let us um, let us embrace that culture, that attitude of valuing our language. Let's give respect to our language because the language itself is what makes us to be who we are today. As an Igbo man, You can only be identified as a true Igbo with your language. You can only look like an Igbo, but without your being able to speak the language, it makes you not a true Igbo. A true Igbo man is he who understands his language and speaks it as expected. So, my fellow Igbos, I say this because you need to know and you need to understand. So, what's your own comment concerning this?